it's pretty amazing the things that you can do with practice. Hey guys, today I want to talk about astral travel. I have tried to make this video a couple of times, and honestly I was halfway through editing it and I was like, I'm really not feeling this. This is not how I wanted to say this, so I am going to try to craft a better response for you this time, and we'll see how it goes. So I want to talk about astral travel today. There are two main ways to experience astral travel, or rather two embodiments in which you experience astral travel, and those are physically when you're awake and your conscious mind is awake, and when you're sleeping, like at night, or when you're taking a nap. Real quick, before I get into this, I want to remind you that if you're new, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button and share this video. It really helps me out. And if you're not new, also welcome. Be sure to hit that bell button, otherwise you won't know when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. The first, probably the easiest way to explain astral travel when you're asleep is, essentially anytime you're dreaming, it's astral travel. You are leaving your physical body in a higher state and moving through either your own thoughts or the thoughts of the collective unconscious, the greater unconscious, or another plane. There are various places you can go while you're dreaming, but pretty much if you're dreaming, you're already in an astral travel state. This can sometimes be really uncomfortable. It can also be super comfortable, but it's difficult to control. So when you're dreaming, often you find that you wake up and you're like, oh gosh, that was a crazy dream, but you didn't have any real control over where it was going, and that's why you're like, man, that's so nuts. But if you can control your dream, or rather control yourself within your dream, either one or both, that's what we call lucid dreaming, or what they call lucid dreaming in general. That's what people call lucid dreaming. And lucid dreaming is when you start to sort of actually take control of your dreaming astral body and decide, okay, there's something for me to learn in this dream. I need to discover what it is. I need to go deeper. I need to find out what's going on. A lot of people will talk about lucid dreaming like they used it to just experience the craziest things while they were asleep, which is, it's a step, certainly in the right direction. But with astral travel, usually the hope is that you're connecting with someone, you're connecting with other beings, you're connecting with your higher self, and you're there to find the answers to something, or explore your Akashic records, various other circumstances. But usually when you're dreaming lucidly for the purpose of astral travel, it's a little bit deeper than just, I decided the car should be red instead of blue, Although that is a really crucial step in awareness for a lot of people, because once you realize that your thoughts create your dreaming reality, it becomes a lot easier to start to transition that mode of thinking to the physical plane. So the second form of astral travel is when you're conscious. So this means you're not asleep, and usually it requires a meditative state. That meditative state can be achieved sitting crisscross applesauce, like you've seen so many times before. It can be achieved staring at a candle flame, or laying in your bed, or listening to meditative sounds and music. Whatever it is that you usually do to get into a good meditative state, that is when you unlock your unconscious mind. You are able to connect with your higher self. It raises the level of consciousness and awareness in your brain without having to go to sleep to achieve that level. And because your conscious brain is still there, sidecarring it, then you can observe your thoughts and the things that are happening in your mind, while also deciding how you're going to react to them. This kind of astral travel can be more difficult for people just because, I mean, when you fall asleep and you start dreaming, like that's a thing that happens to you until you take control of it. This is something you have to do for yourself. Once you're in your meditative state, now I'm not talking about like completely zoning out and like not having any thoughts and just being one with the carpet or whatever. I'm talking about being able to clear your energy of surrounding stimuli, and reaching like a larger, greater clarity. This is something that I try to help you guys achieve both in my basics of energy work meditation and in my chakra clearing meditation. It is about having a greater connection to everything and having less of a focus on your thoughts or not having thoughts. Because if you think about it this way, if you're focusing on how you're not supposed to be having thoughts, then the thoughts are going to keep popping up. What you resist persists. So if you're like, I'm meditating, so I shouldn't be having thoughts right now, the thoughts are going to keep slamming into you and sidetracking you. And then you're going to go off down these bunny trails with your thoughts and be like, oh crap, right, I was supposed to be meditating. And it can be really frustrating and it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Whereas if thoughts pop up and you observe that they're there, you understand where they come from, what emotion they're attached to, and then watch as they pass by you and the next one comes. It's kind of like watching cars on a street, or frogs. Like if you ever played Frogger when you were a kid, it's kind of like watching the frogs kind of go by on their lily pads and being aware that they're coming, looking at them, observing them, being like, oh, I do like the pink frog, or the blue frog makes me feel a little on the inside, and then watch as it leaves. Like that is your role. Your role when you're meditating is that of an observer. That's your first initial role. Once you have that down, then you can travel wherever you want to. Different places you can travel to. You can travel through your own memories. You can access past lives. You can access future lives. You can access the other realm, or what a lot of people call the astral plane, and speak to beings that live there and are visiting there. You can go to the library or into your Akashic records, however you associate with it. You can transcend this planet and travel up past the stars to a safe celestial place where you can meet with your spirit guides, and you can connect with stars, and you can connect with people you know psychically. You can even travel to places where you are welcome psychically. You can go check out like your sister's house, see if there's anything wonky happening there spiritually, or I mean, people have even used astral travel to check on the people that they care about and see what state they're in, their emotions, their physical state. Everybody travels a little bit differently, and the amount that you'll be able to like see or experience with the senses that you understand as a person will vary, but it's pretty amazing the things that you can do with practice. That's actually the method that I recommend. I mean, I still think it's important to learn from your dreams, obviously, but if you want to expand your ability to leave your body and find greater awareness in the world around you and also on other planes and from different, like through different dimensions and from various beings and timelines, astral travel is seriously like, it is all encompassing. Astral travel is anytime you're going somewhere without physically moving. So it's a lot. It encompasses a lot. I mean, for example, I used a form of astral travel when I first started practicing. I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this yet, but my element is shadow. Comment down below if you want a video about elemental magic. I don't have time to go into it right now, but my element is shadow, and I would sometimes practice looking at my surroundings, like checking out a room that I wasn't in, but instead of going into a deep meditative state and like leaving my body and trying to go and like see the spiritual state of that room, I would instead visualize helpers, like little shadow helpers or shadow minions. I actually called them minions a lot. I would sort of summon minions from the shadows and send them to the room that I needed to check out and use them as my eyes. So it was a very similar concept, and you don't have to use an element to do it, but it makes for a good catalyst for something like that. There are so many ways to explore your astral abilities, but they all pretty much start with raising your conscious level to meet your higher self and cooperate to move forward and out and up. It's sort of like just letting go of the physical constraints that are your body and moving away from it. It is important for you to still have a tie to your body. If it helps to visualize like a silver thread that you hold in your hand that is attached to your body. So if you do, say like you practice your spirit, like standing up out of your body and like walking through your apartment, which is an amazing way to practice, you want to be sure that you stay connected to your body and can find your way back to it. Because say you're walking through your apartment and next thing you know, it's not your apartment anymore. Like if you're new at this, or if there's any sort of psychic interference or someone's trying to communicate with you, you could be walking through your apartment and then you're not in your apartment anymore, and then you're not sure where you are. So it's always really important to have some sort of sign or symbol or something that you can tie back to your body that you can use to get back at the drop of a hat if you need to. Think Inception. It's kind of like that. You need to have something that keeps you grounded and keeps you connected to your body. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive because you're trying to float away from your body, and at first this might be really difficult, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be like, oh, why was that ever hard for me? It's also really important to note that obviously like not everybody is visual. Everybody has a different way of experiencing the metaphysical world. Some people hear things more, they see things more, they sort of get a smell or a taste for things, or they feel things. Some people just feel things, and you could also be a combination of those. So it's important to note that if you're really focusing on trying to experience it a certain way, it doesn't resonate with you to do that, go back to yourself on the inside and have a conversation with yourself about just what does feel right to you and move forward in that direction. Because if you're trying to do it the way that somebody else does it, it's never going to work quite right. So that's kind of just a very general overview of astral travel and what it is and where it can take you. If you guys would be interested in diving into this topic further, I would love to talk about it more. Leave your comments down below. Have you gone astral traveling? I would love to hear about those experiences. Let's talk about that. I also post almost daily on Instagram, so you can DM me there. Check out my Patreon. It seriously helped me out a lot. Please subscribe and check out my other videos because I have a lot of fun making them. Okay, well, thank you for your time. I will see you on the other side.